Hi. One of the things that students seem to struggle with is how to punctuate dialogue. I thought I'd provide a little overview here that I hope will clear up some of the confusion because it is a little more complicated than it seems on the surface. Why does it matter at all? Well, properly punctuated dialogue helps readers know who is speaking, how they're speaking, and what they're doing while they're speaking. It eliminates confusion that can needlessly pull a reader out of the flow of your story. It's also one more way to show an agent or an editor that you're a professional who has taken the time and put in the effort to learn their craft. You'll note that sometimes authors choose not to punctuate dialogue in a way that's grammatically correct, and they do it for all kinds of reasons. But in those cases, it's a deliberate choice. Those authors know these rules, and they break them with intent. So the rules still matter. So let's start with the basics. Spoken words go inside double quotation marks. Dialogue tags like said, asked, shouted, etc. are separated from spoken words with a comma. You put in a paragraph break when someone else begins to speak. Let's talk about dialogue tags first. We often get sick of typing said and asked and start to look for alternatives. But be sparing with those other choices. Said and asked disappear for the reader after a while. There's no need to distract them with lots of other options. So, how to use those dialogue tags. When a tag comes after the dialogue, use a comma inside the quotation marks where the spoken words end, and don't capitalize the dialogue tag. So here in our example, it's open quote, I'm not offering money, comma, close quote, he said. And the he said is all lowercase. If the dialogue ends with a question mark or an exclamation point, we leave out the comma. The tag is still not capitalized though. So in our examples down here, we've got open quote, I'm not offering money, exclamation point, close quote, he said. Or open quote, I'm not offering money, question mark, close quote, he said. And again, the tags are not capitalized. When a tag comes before the dialogue, the tag is capitalized. So she said, comma, quote, you need a way to end this, period, close quote. The comma goes before the quotation marks in this case, and the beginning of the dialogue is capitalized. Dialogue tags can also come in the middle of the dialogue. So in these examples, this is when the tag comes between two complete sentences. We punctuate the first part of the dialogue in the same way you would if it stood alone. Then you continue the dialogue as a new sentence, but on the same line because you have not switched speakers. So, open quote, I'm not offering money, comma, close quote, he said, period. Open quote, keep, capitalized K, the dog, period, close quote. It's a little different if dialogue comes between two incomplete clauses. You use a comma at the end of the first clause as you would if the sentence didn't continue, and another comma after the tag itself. The continuation of the dialogue after the tag should not be capitalized. So, open quote, I thought if I accepted the demands, comma, close quote, he said, comma, open quote, she'd love me, period, close quote. A character's physical actions can take the place of dialogue tags. Like dialogue tags, they can come before, after, or in the middle of the speech and let the reader know who is speaking. Be sure the character who is performing the action is the same character who is speaking. Now, to be clear, other characters can be moving around, but their actions stay grouped with their dialogue. So unlike dialogue tags, action beats are sentences in their own right and should be punctuated as such. So here's how we use action beats. If the action beat comes before the dialogue, they nodded, period, open quote, I can't tell you how many people have stood right where you are, period, close quote. Or if it comes after the dialogue, open quote, I can't tell you how many people have stood right where you are, close quote, they nodded, and they is capitalized. Or if it's in the middle of two complete sentences, open quote, I can't tell you how many people have stood right where you are, period, close quote, they nodded, period, open quote, please have a seat, period, close quote. It can get a little confusing when you combine dialogue tags with action beats. Deciding how to punctuate these instances often rests on what is or isn't a complete sentence. So, she said with a smile is not really a complete sentence. So, open quote, please have a seat, comma, close quote, she said with a smile. But if it is a complete sentence, you punctuate it separately. So, open quote, please have a seat, period, close quote, she said the welcoming phrase with a smile. Sometimes our characters interrupt each other, or their speech will trail off. So in the case of an interrupted piece of dialogue, we use an M dash. So she turned to him, period, open quote, I don't want M dash, close quote. I don't care what you want, he said. Now you'll note that even though he's interrupting her dialogue, so his sentence kind of flows into hers, it's in a new paragraph. We use an ellipsis if a character's speech trails off. She turned to him, period, open quote, I'm not sure, ellipsis, close quote. So while this seems a little more confusing than it might on the surface, remember your goals. Your goal is to let the reader know who is speaking, how they're speaking, and what they're doing while they're speaking. Try to make your punctuation match those goals.